Hey guys, it's been a minute. Haven't done anything in about a month because I haven't been getting a whole lot of new fidgets. Just kind of two reasons, I guess. I've really got a collection that I like a whole lot, and there hasn't been a whole lot of new obtainable things kind of rolling into the market, and the stuff I like is older and really expensive, so I've been enjoying what I have, but things have changed a little bit since my last video, so I figured why not just do another update video since it seems to help you guys out a good bit, kind of going back and forth and talking about the different fidgets all in one go. So I guess here we go. I went ahead and got everything out of my case this time and kind of put them down in loose categories based on fidget type. So this time I can, I don't know, at least do it different than pulling them out, talking about it, and stacking them in the, in the Dumas system order. Still gonna do that, but just gonna have them, out and kind of categorized to start with. Enough rambling, I guess I'll get to it. Start with the Lottie MTAC Nuck. Just a Zircon, what is it? It's like titanium? Yeah, it's a slider. Simple slider, just it's a track slider, I guess, on both sides. Just to show that. So yeah, this piece is the same. And it just moves half the width of the magnets and pulls back. Simple and effective. It's pretty cool. Not something I would necessarily buy. I'm not really into the whole Nuck thing. Like, I don't really have a need. But it was a gift. It's definitely cool. It's well made. The magnets are strong. It's not super loud, and the actions, it's pretty satisfying. Simple, effective, satisfying. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So not something I would buy. I'm gonna keep it down here, kind of let's put it down here at the bottom. I'm gonna start working my way maybe across, actually. Go ahead and get the leather slips out of the way. So I know there's gonna be several of you ask and email and wonder where I got these leather slips for my fidgets. I've got a friend that makes them, and it's not something he does all the time. And he doesn't really take orders unless, you've already been friends with them or a previous customer, just because it's a side thing that he does. So I can't send you to him to go buy some. Best I can say is they're made of Horween leather. They're just stitched and handmade, and he will roughly, I'll give him the dimensions of whatever fidget I'm wanting a slip for, and he'll either carve something or 3D print it in roughly the same dimensions and shape, and then form the leather around that. So sometimes you just get lucky and things happen to fit in ones you already have, or new fidget fits. Like, this one was not made for this at all, but it fits in there great. So yeah, you just gotta kind of try different leather slips and maybe source some other people. There's tons of makers that do handmade leather work. Lots of them on Etsy. You just have to shop around and see if you can work with somebody that'll make little custom pieces. So yeah, sorry that my friend Jake doesn't just take orders from anybody. So now that maybe we got that out of the way, this is the Metal Toys DZ Spark, the Top C Spark. So this was like a collaboration one with Metal Toys and D Rocket Designs or something. That's what this little rocket logo is. And this is a mechanical haptic coin. It works with balls and springs with detents. So there's no magnets. Gives a very different feel over the magnetic haptic coins. It's I would almost say there's a little more haptic feedback. There's definitely more frequent because there's a lot more detents. But if you tune it and put ceramic balls in, you can really get it to, this thing vibrates a lot in your hand. I can feel it all the way up in my tendons, up in my arm up here, like traveling through my thumb. That doesn't really happen with the magnetic coins for me, because you have less clicks, even though it's more force. This is really cool. This is absolutely a number one for me. If I was only to have a really even one haptic coin, I think it would be this guy. Even though the NJT one is also really good, being magnetic, different categories, so still my one pick, but we'll get to that in a minute. Go through the leather slips first again. So this one's my stainless torque bar mini, not mini, stainless torque bar standard, solid body. And I just got these buttons for it yesterday. I traded my black hole superconductor coin that was for sale in the last video for these buttons and this slider that we'll get to in a second. And I was hoping that they would fit this spinner, my tungsten amaryllis, because I mean that would look pretty cool, right? But the diameter of the button is maybe 0.5 millimeter too large. So I keep going back and forth in my head if I want to put these in the lathe and turn them down a little smaller, because of you know, all the spinners you see sitting here. This is the only spinner that these actually fit on. I mean, they feel great, they look awesome, but I really like my tri spinners more than the bars. So yeah, these buttons are sweet. I love the spinner. It's got a full ceramic bearing in it. Kind of sounds like crickets when it's spinning, or frogs, you know, outside at night here in the south. Really like the sound, tone, feedback. It's one of the, this is a Cap C bearing. You know, it's like the Unquiet Hands Dark Matter, just a full silicone nitride ceramic bearing. I do carry this thing a good bit. I find myself picking it up a lot since I put this bearing in here. I used to have these zirconium buttons on it. They're pretty cool, but they don't have as much grip and definitely don't look as good as a superconductor. So that's definitely a cool spinner. I think if I were to lose it or something, getting into the categories now, you know, I might try to find another stainless torque bar with if I put another ceramic bearing in it. Without this bearing, it's just kind of mediocre. I like it, but wouldn't necessarily buy another, so we'll give it row 2 for now. Slide that up. More leather slips. This is the FocusWorks Axis Micro Mini, made in tungsten with the tungsten balls. I've got a full ceramic bearing there, the white ceramic, so the zirconium oxide. It's got a little softer feel and tone than the silicone nitride, and it's I carry this thing probably, I mean, every day. It doesn't ever leave the slip. Like, I mean, it fits it perfect. It doesn't come out. The little bit of, like, I don't know what kind of leather that is in the middle, matches the superconductor. Yeah, it's cool. This little thing's a ripper. I made these superconductor buttons for it. It's fast, it spins really long time for its size. It's easy to start and stop, gives a good thud whenever you catch it. It's very balanced, smooth, good feedback, not too loud. Satisfying gyroscopic forces when you move it around. I mean, I would really recommend this for a smaller spinner if you can find one. It's really cool. I really appreciate the size, so it's definitely it's my number 1 tri spinner, mainly because of portability and the ability of the leather slip and the lighter weight of carrying it around. Like, I absolutely love my amaryllis. Like, it's probably my as far as being a spinner itself, it's my favorite. The feel, the forces, the rips, the leverage you can get whenever you rip it, how it feels when it stops, all the forces. But it's just a little chunky to carry, at least for me, being it's like 110 grams or something, maybe 130 if I'm remembering right. I don't know, but it's just chunky. I don't necessarily like carrying it every day. It's lovely though. I would try to find another one if I lost it. It would be really difficult, but I would try. It's not in a leather slip, but that's okay, right? All right, so here's what other thing I traded with the buttons for that haptic coin. This is a zirconium Magnus rail, but it's like the second run that has the screw-in plates. And I got one zirconium plate and one Teflon plate. And I got this in yesterday, and I was too excited. I didn't feel like coming out here and doing a video, and I don't know why. I guess just because I haven't in a while. I just wanted to open them and get to it. On the magnets, I replaced the ones on the corners to give it kind of like a hybrid setup. They're N52s now, whereas before they were, I'm not sure if they were 35s or 45s or whatever. The next grade's lower, but they were definitely on the softer side, because whenever I would ladder, it would over travel pretty often. Now it just stays locked in. Feels very similar to my Wrapped even. I like it a lot. This zirconium and Teflon combo is quiet, smooth, buttery. I'm not having to worry about scratching up or galling. It stays consistent. It's got a good tone. I missed my original rail. It was the one with the epoxy plates, you know, all zirconium. But it would gum up on me being zircon zirc, and I just sold it for that very reason. But having this one now for, I guess it's only been like 18 hours or so, but I've used it pretty much exclusively in the time I've been awake, and it's consistent and doesn't gum up. So this has brought back all my love for the Magnus rail. It's great. This thing is so good. I love how thin it is. Let's just compare it to the Wrapped, which I'll be talking about next. See, the Wrapped is definitely on the thicker side. It's not a bad thing. I love the heft of the Wrapped, and the plates are unparalleled. But a thin slider, I like. I miss my V3s also. What was that? Sorry. But yeah, I miss my Compiform V3s. They were super thin and slid really good. It was just, damn, my ears. It was brutal on them. That's something with this too, the Teflon and Zirc. And I guess with the little rubber pads that are under these magnets in the style instead of O-rings. If you get one of the older Magnus stuff, this is the first one I've ever opened, but yeah, under the magnets, it's just it's a rubber pad. It's the size of the magnet, maybe a little oversized of the magnet, and it's between the magnet and the Zirc, and it definitely cushions good and gives a great tone. The O-rings, like in this one, are, I don't know, they totally take out all the noise. I feel like this still has some kind of reverberation since the rubber pad is so thin and it's not sandwiched in there too tight. This size for Magnus is just, it's great. I don't like the 3x2s proportionally, and the snake is just it's honestly a little large for my for my small, well, medium sized hands. I have to really space out and be cautious to not like bump the inside of my hand whenever I'm doing certain moves like that. Like I would have to really stretch to not bump the inside of my hand right there. You get it. So if I lost this, oh man, I would absolutely buy another one. It's a contender for row one. I'm being, if I could only have one, but I mean, come on. My customized Wrapped is, of course, the only one I could ever have. Got the 4x2 aluminum hybrid setup. The plates are still just breaking in beautifully. Look at those wear patterns. So good, so much use. Absolutely love it. Do I need to ramble about this thing anymore? Probably not. It's the one trackless slider to rule them all. So that's on my leather slips. This double slip is my favorite. Just, you try to get something made. Just, I don't know, show somebody this. It's not that hard. It's literally 2 pieces of leather and 2 lines of stitching. Yeah, can't be that bad, especially for someone who knows how to work leather. All right, let's start tearing in all this stuff. Magnus snake, since we were talking about Magnus and the Wrapped trackless sliders. So I took my O-rings out. This is one I have for sale currently, by the way. I like it a lot, but I like this a lot more because it's smaller. This is just a little, it's a little wide from hand. So see that caught on the inside of my thumb right there, so it didn't fire down how I like. So I really got to stretch my hand out to use the snake and all these newer 4x2 Magnus sliders. And this one's even on the thinner side, so I can't imagine the thicker ones. Like, I am speculating that I won't be able to use them properly, at least in the way that I would like with my hand size. So yeah, this thing's, I mean, I like it, especially with these new clicks with the O-rings out. Being the Teflon plates, it's really cool, but it's just a little big. Plenty of grip. Man, these clicks are so satisfying. I'm almost considering taking out my dampeners on my Wrapped just so I can get some clicks for a little bit. I like the clicks, man. They're awesome. So this one's gonna stay down here at the bottom while I'm talking about everything else. That one's a row 3 item. Put that up there. Onto the Gal Cube. I took the tape off of this one for the first time this month. That was, I've had the tape on ever since Mark Chang gifted this to me. Well, on one side. He had them both taped, and I took one side off right away. So now, this thing is pretty damn snappy. I wanted to feel how it was with stainless on stainless, since the wrapped is all stainless plates. And it feels really good. It's very snappy now. I mean, these were literally just on sale for like 40 bucks. If you ever see one, I don't know why you would be disappointed getting one of these. Like, I mean, it's not pretty, but as far as a slider, it is extremely functional. It does its job great. The square, unique. You can take off these plates that say Gal on them, and it comes with like clickers and different magnets. And here, let me just show real quick. I don't do this kind of stuff on video much, but screw it, right? What's happening here? You see, this is why I don't do things on video. I've taken these plates off a gazillion times, and now... Alright, let's see, that one came off, no problem. So it's totally modular under here. Let me do this to keep things from jumping around. It's gonna hold in place now. So you can also get little clickers that go in here, so when you push on this, it makes a nice click sound, you know, but it makes it a little floppy, so I wasn't a fan of having the clickers in, but on their website or on YouTube, wherever, you can find all these different magnet configurations for different effects. I do like the standard the most, just because this is one of the stronger setups. And just some more traditional moves you can do, so if you're used to 4x2s or 3x2s, you can come to this and do a lot of your same moves, but with a little different twist. You can find one for 40 bucks, really even like 80 bucks like they normally are. I don't know why you wouldn't. It's almost like it should just be a standard chocolate slider in collections. So it's gonna be a row 3 item again, I guess, because I wouldn't immediately go try to find one if I lost it, but if there was one on sale, I would probably sneak one in. Yeah. So we'll do it on a row 3, kind of stick it under here. Start working through that. Snake's still gonna be at the bottom. Let's oppose these guys. Alright. Snake at the bottom. CP5. I'm gonna start snaking over this way now. Snaking. So the CP5 is a 3-layer mechanical tracked slider. This goes up and down. It's an older one. It's made of all stainless steel. It works on detents with springs and balls. Can't see the springs and balls because they're captured under the center plate. You take it apart with the 2 screws and it'll slide apart. The screws are captured in this little track right here on the back side. So that's what stops it from over traveling, is that screw hitting down there. And man, I really like I like this more than the CP3 purely because it has 8 engagement points. They are a lot softer haptically than the CP3, and it's quieter. So that's primarily why I like it. It is quiet and more clicks. So it's just there's a lot going on. I don't like that it rattles, but that's just part of the tolerances that it has. If I had tighter tolerances, I think it would honestly tighten up the haptic feedback. You might get a little more out of it. Or maybe if you tightened up the tolerances and did tighter springs, but you know, that's something that had to be done in production. Nothing I can do about that now. I would probably... I might get one of these again if it was like through a trade or on sale as well, so I'm just gonna hang out here with the Gal Cube. Put that down. Alright, onto the Mott Rhythm. Still like it, but I will say in like maybe this last month or so, I haven't carried it at all. It's kind of big, and it's rather noisy. So that's really... It's not that it's loud, but it just makes a lot of clicks because that's how it's designed. Everything you do with it moves and clicks. It makes all these ratchety noises. Me and Mark Chang were talking about it with a different TK EDC slider that kind of has the same kind of pivot motion as this one, just as a 2-layer. And it looked like in his video of that one that it was very snappy, and we came up with the word mushy for the rhythm. So you see all this play before it clicks to the next one. You can even hear it. It's just mushy, really. Like, it's not a bad thing, like, it's just how it works and how it is, but I would like to experience something with this mechanism with very precise snaps. You know, I mean, this is a tracked slider that it's very precise. There's very distinct positions that it goes to with not a lot of play in between. You know, some people talk about that with haptic coins too, like a mushy haptic coin between positions. So this is kind of on that same level. Really could benefit from maybe stronger magnets or something like that, but it's still just so unique, and really it's pretty enjoyable to use whenever you get in a flow with it. Like, I mean, just kind of how we're hammering on it right now. I like that, and it's a lot of fun for, who's here? Oh, it's my nephew. My video is gonna get interrupted. Hey, that's okay. I'm just gonna stop here, and I guess I'll pick up and splice it together, right? Please hold. All right, got out of my flow for like 30 minutes there. I was talking about the rhythm, right? It's mushy, it makes a lot of noise, and yeah, me and my nephew were actually talking about this thing. He had never seen it before, or didn't remember seeing it. It's yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure I would buy one again, because they're really expensive if you don't get one on the group buys. Like, I bought this one, so maybe if it was only on sale, drop down to row 3 for the first time ever. Interesting. All right, go on to the track sliders. TK EDC collaboration with Cosmo 42. This is the X tracked slider. I have all the magnets in it, so I don't know. Is this gonna show on camera? Maybe it will. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then what, 12, 13, 40, like 16 magnets or something on each side. You got 5x3s and 3x3. That's all in millimeters. Maybe, I'm just not sure it's gonna show up. It's just a faint circle that's there, and you can see the bigger 5x3 there. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, this thing's super snappy. You got that crunchy noise. Really enjoyed this one. So this would be my new, yeah, if I lost it, I'd want to find another one. They're expensive, but I think I would still try. Yeah. The So Sorry pod slider thing from 01 EDC. This was for them having issues with the launch of the 01 slider. I don't remember what it's called. Yeah, this thing's pretty cool. It's only 2 clicks each direction, even though you got 3 magnets per side. It, you know, normally that would be click, click, but the middle magnet on each of the outer plates is opposing, so it shoots over it, and gives a pretty satisfying snap because of that. It's a long travel, so it's a big jump. It's pretty neat. I carry it all the time because it's plastic and doesn't weigh anything, and it was free, and it's not going to damage anything or get itself damaged being bumped around in my pack. So it's pretty cool. Was a good little addition to the 01 slider launch. Yeah, I don't think I'd ever buy one or anything. So it's definitely a row 3 item. Let's stick it over here. I got the opposing magnets make it where it won't fully attract. Love it. So that's all the sliders. On to some more spinners, since I've talked about those. Here is another Focus Works. This is the Axis Micro. Not mini. The mini is even smaller. Full tungsten. Got one of those full ceramic silicone nitride, the black ceramic bearings in there. This one is one that was from Cap. It's a lovely bearing. Good noise, Good tone, good feedback, super smooth, long spin times, tons of gyroscopic forces. I made these buttons for it. They're zirconium. Same with those zirconium buttons I made. Really like it. Recently Jordy announced that he's going to be doing a micro S, so it's going to be the same thickness as this micro, but it's going to be in between the size of these two. First run's going to be in titanium, but he said he will be doing it in tungsten, so it's going to be right under 2 inches, which will be easier to do in tungsten, I guess, because some of it can be done from bar stock. Pretty sweet. Looking forward to that, because this is a little big. I have to do that kind of stretch I was talking about with the snake to make sure I have clearance on the inside of my fingers. I can't, got to be careful, especially of my holding index finger. I got to get it out of the way rather quickly to not get smacked by this inside arm whenever I flick it. So a little bit smaller might be just the sweet spot on the axis line. So looking forward to that in tungsten whenever it launches. Probably would try to find another one of these guys if I lost it. It's just such a lovely piece. More spinners. Mackie Captain, zirconium. Pretty unique. Got the sliders on all sides. I have fixed it. I maybe did in the last video too. I had some magnets loose on one of the arms before. Whenever you spin it really hard, it slings out the arms and it makes it spin off balance, and then when the centrifugal force lessens, it sucks back in and gets smooth. Pretty cool. Got an Unquiet Hands Nibiru 2.0 bearing in it. It's very smooth, almost silent with a soft whir. Still spins a little off balance sometimes because there is some, you know, a little bit of play in the tolerances of the arms, it seems. So not perfect at all times. The buttons honestly are not comfortable at all. Okay, they're comfortable, but they're not grippy or functional at all. I've almost thrown this out of my hands, probably more than any spinner that I've kept in my collection. I do find myself picking it up a good bit just because of the heft and size. I guess all the proportions of it mixed with this bearing just make for a pleasant spinner. Like, I'm sitting here enjoying just start, stop, start, stop. It's got just enough mass to where it still gives some kick whenever it slaps to a stop, and I can still flick it pretty good. I don't know. Not sure I would buy one again. Actually pretty confident I wouldn't buy one, but happy to have it. Put it over there. Here's a spinner. Lottie Spore. This is a gift from Adam. Still haven't found a puffer crasher at a decent price, so I can put this lanyard spinner on the puffer crasher and kind of pair them together. And they're made for each other. It'd be perfect. It's got one of the bigger, I think it's a 608 bearing in it. And the balls, it might be the retainer or whatever for the balls. Hear that? There's like a little rattle sound when you start and stop. It's pretty unique I've only ever heard in this particular bearing. I don't know if it's damaged or anything. I don't think so, because it spins just fine. It spins for a long time. Not something that I would necessarily buy, but very cool gift. Very appreciative of it. You know, there's just not a whole lot to spin. I think maybe if I wore it on a necklace, I think Melanie at EDC Fidget does that with one of hers. Or maybe it's the puffer crasher, but this would be cool on an EDC for a necklace, but I'm not a necklace wearer, so, you know, that's kind of, I guess, where it sits. It's happy to have it, but I wouldn't go buy another one. The Wee Knife SPO1 or 2 or something. This is a really old spinner with the 608 bearing that's stuck in there. You can't get it out and swap it, but you know, they were super cheap at a time. They were like 20 bucks. I think this one was whenever I got it at Blade Show in, I think 2016, maybe 17. This is definitely one of the oldest pieces in my collection. I'm actually pretty sure this is the oldest piece in my collection. I still like it. I'd carry it every now and then. Makes a good sound, perfectly balanced. I electro-anodized these buttons on it. Got a slight dish to them, plenty of grip. It would be neat to have this maybe in tungsten, just to experience, or even stainless steel, just to get the weight up. Because this is definitely my lightest spinner, and it's the only thing I don't like about it, is how lightweight it is. I'd buy one again on sale. ATS Mini in Bowler M390 steel. It's like a super knife steel. Got a full ceramic bearing in it. It's obviously a big bearing, not like the R188s that are in the other spinners here. But if you're not familiar with bearings, it's still the same materials and construction, just larger. So, you know, more balls. You can see the inner and outer races are that gray black ceramic, and the balls are ceramic with a it's called a peak. What is it, cage for the balls? It's like a spacer. It's some kind of, I guess, hard plastic or ceramic or something that, yeah, keeps the balls spaced out. And that's literally what all of these have in them. Well, not this one, but this, and this. They all have those full ceramic bearings. I don't keep the buttons on it, so I can keep this in ring spinner configuration because it's my only ring spinner. Definitely enjoy it. I've messed with Adam Sherry's in tungsten. That thing is sweet. So I would not buy another one in stainless steel, but I might try to buy one in tungsten if I had the opportunity someday. Just kind of expensive, so it's gonna be over here. You know, one of those I might get again in the right circumstance. Zirconium torque bar mini. This is one that I've had for a while now. It's got a Nibiru 2.0 hybrid ceramic bearing in it. It's a quieter bearing, the soft whir. I've tried basically every bearing I own in it. That's like an embarrassing amount. And nothing was quite as satisfying as this for some reason. Even though it's quiet, it's got really tight tolerances, not a lot of wiggle. It's really fast, it's really quiet. It just seems to fit this particular spinner best for me. And I've thought about selling it or trading it a couple times, and I just can't ever bear to. Don't think I would ever buy it again, maybe through a trade or something if I, you know, lost it and the trade or money was right. So I don't know, I like it, but just not a lot. I'm happy to have it, you know, but just I don't love it. At least not like this guy. So this is another torque bar mini, a newer one, the scam stamp. This one's got the what was it, MD Engineering or something, whatever. They went big there for a little while. This is a newer production one with the scam stamp. Got some black Timascus buttons on it that I've superheated with a torch. Got them really, really hot. You can see a little bit of iridescent color on this one, and then this one's mostly monochromatic. The pattern on the buttons lines up beautifully, really tight. This is a tungsten alloy. It's like 90% tungsten or something. It's called Mallory 3000 or HD 17. Goes by two names, I believe. It's pretty much just as heavy as tungsten, but easier to machine. This thing is pretty awesome. Probably my favorite bar spinner that I've ever had. Got one of those full ceramic bearings in there. But this little spinner, you know, with not a lot of thin material between the weights and the bearing, it definitely eats a lot of the sound and the feedback. So the high feedback ceramic bearing pairs up really well with it. Highly enjoyable. It's my number one bar spinner. I carry it a lot. Onto haptic coins. Got another ATS product here. This is the acrylic bead clicker haptic coin. So this is mechanical, doesn't have magnets. So good demonstration of springs, balls, and detents. You can see it happening in there. There's a spring and a ball. And on this top disc, there's little divots. You can see them right there. They interact with the balls and it clicks into place. That is how the top C works. There's just a lot more divots, but only 3 balls and springs. So hopefully that gives a good comparison without me having to take this apart and show you how it works. You can see it pretty well. Yeah, spring, ball, and it just compresses it when you're off of the detents. And then when you get to the next one, they jump up and give the click. So this one's got 4 balls and springs with 6 positions. It's definitely a, you know, it's a basic looking piece, but it's very functional and it's quite cheap. So if I were to lose this, I would definitely hit Dean up and be like, hey, let me buy another one of those. Yeah. So onto the top C, since we're talking about mechanical haptics. This one's set up with full ceramic balls, Metal Toys DZ top C. This one's not a spark. You can see the difference in design. This one's got the swirl and the what they were calling a black hole design on the back. This one's just plain brass with the smiley face and smooth dishing. This one's definitely picked up a patina because I haven't been using it or carrying it very much. I've just been carrying this one. This one's definitely, it's looking pretty good right now. It's definitely dark. It was looking pretty pale whenever I carried it all the time. Yeah, set up with full ceramic balls, and one of the balls is 1/8 inch, so it gives it a little more stiffness between positions. It's quite snappy, but still has a soft feedback, being brass. Definitely like it a lot. Would probably buy it again if it was on sale, or I would actually try to get a different material. So that again falls in line with the ATS here. I would probably get it in another material if I were to get it again. But I wouldn't necessarily go hunting for one right away. I clearly have two. Mechanical. This one's mechanical and magnetic. So we've got the ratchets. This is the pig coin that seems to be pretty popular. I get a lot of comments and messages about this one actually. People asking my opinion, or would you get this or that? And this one's usually included. I guess I can see it because of the price and the dual functionality. I think it's a good piece to recommend if you're really not trying to collect a bunch of stuff. This gives a lot of variety, and it does the variety pretty good. You can modify the ratchet here by either making the springs stiffer or putting a ball under them to increase the preload like I've done. I've got a video on that. You can go back and see it, I suppose. It's called Tuning the Pig Coin or something. On the haptic side, it's pretty stiff. There's not a lot of mush between positions, like on some coins. Stiffness is, or like the magnet strength is pretty strong, really. I think some people might struggle to like snap it like that or do multiple snaps. Probably take a more force for some people. So I see a lot of people pick it up and it sounds like this when they use it, because they're having to push down so hard for what they're used to that they can't get that finesse to do it like that. It just, I don't know, it just takes some practice. So it only clicks clockwise. It's haptic, and that goes for whichever way you hold it. That's just how it works. You'll understand if you have one. And then this way, counterclockwise, is when you get the ratchet. Same thing. Doesn't matter which way you're holding it. That's just that's how ratchets work. Let's see if we can pull it apart here. This way. Still got one ball hanging out in there, but so it's these little ratchets that interact with these here, and then it's like a normal haptic coin under this plate. So there's 6 magnets on the back of this, and then on that part of the coin. Sandwich it back together. Yeah, that's it. This is one that was a gift to me. If it was on sale, I'm not sure I would buy it, I guess. Like, it's, again, I have a large collection. I don't need to have just one thing to kind of satisfy my fidgets. So I would rather have a good mechanical coin and a good magnetic coin, and not just a combination of the two. I'm just happy to have this because it's black and gold, and it was a gift from Melanie. Black and gold, black and gold, black and gold, black, black, gold, 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 black and gold. I like it. I hate the pig though. The pig that is some just cartoonish Angry Birds artwork, am I wrong? This part's fine. I get their logo with the pig snout. That's stylized. This is cartoon Angry Birds. So I wouldn't get another one necessarily for any particular circumstance. Now we'll do NJT. So this is a NJT hand power Makume coin that I have sanded and reprofiled and then etched the ever living crap out of it. Much deeper than original. Like, you can hear the layers catching on my nail. It's not rough. I polished it afterwards, but it's just very textured. Very good coin. You can see I don't really have any other haptic coins. I sold the black hole, sold the milk lids. I'm not huge on haptic coins anyways. They're pretty damn loud. So that's you know, that's definitely an issue, but the Makume here is definitely more of a deep tone. Like here, I got the thing here. What is it called? Decibel meter. It's only loud whenever I do the loud while I'm talking to, so it's gonna throw it off. But whenever I do the clicks that are the loudest, like these. See, I mean, it's definitely up there, but I don't use it like that very often. And it really helps if I put some knife pivot lube on the bearing, which it's looking a little drier than I normally run it. So it's due for some cleaning and maintenance to get it to be a little more dampened. Still like it a lot, but again, this is the only reason I still have this one, I guess, even though it's loud, is because, I mean, look at it. It's so dang pretty. And it functions really good. I do carry it a lot. Everything that's going up here in this top row is EDC'd on the absolute regular, on the daily. All right, turn this guy off. That out the way. Last one. This is the billet spin gambit coin. This is the convex, so it's, you know, rounded on the bottom. It's maybe a little hard to see on video. This looks machined, but yeah. And then I've got a Makume, raindrop Makume, made by Sakmar. Well, the Makume is made by Sakmar. I turned the shape of the coin on the lathe to fit in here. It's a little tighter than the standard billet spin inner coins, so it takes a little more force to snap in place. I mean, I like them. They're pretty cool. I don't know if I would buy another one if I lost it, I guess, just to support Rich, because I love Rich. He's an amazing guy, great friend. But it's just such a unique fidget that I just don't find myself using it that much. It's satisfying, but not like addicting, at least not for me. I mean, this is the first time I've picked it up in quite a while, and I gotta say, it's actually pretty enjoyable. So maybe I just needed a little time to not experience it and come back to it, because it's pretty nice. And it looks awesome with this zirconium and the Makume. Just a great combination. So yeah, I'd buy one again. Has to be the right circumstance though. So that's that's everything. This time I didn't get my wife's collection out, and I didn't get some of my other things that were gifts, like the Lati chess pawn, the Pause maze slider, the ATS Spyro coin, maybe a couple others that were gifts that I really don't like. I don't use them, I don't play with them, I don't carry them. All this stuff I actually will, you know, I'll grab the box and sit down in the evening and actually, you know, I'll mess with all of these to some extent. Like I hadn't picked that one up in probably almost a month, nor this one. I did pick that up earlier this week. Almost all this other stuff, maybe I haven't picked that up in a while. But all this I've picked up within the last week and fidgeted with, even if it was only for a minute or so, and it went back in the box and I moved on to something else. I messed with all these, so I mean, this is stuff I really do enjoy having around. This one, before a week ago, I hadn't really picked it up a whole lot, so I could kind of put it somewhere down there. And this one I was playing with a lot recently, but it was for sale. Then I took the O-rings out and I was like, this thing's pretty cool, I like it. Then this came yesterday, and this just reconfirmed that the snake is for sale. So it is down here, but I was carrying it, I mean, all the time until I got this. And this is also in my current EDC up here in this top row. I've been carrying today, I guess y'all saw with the leather slips. I think I had like this going on, right? Yeah. Let's see, I'm gonna pack back down here. So I got slips for these guys. This one's going in here. This one's having to stretch to fit this button. Look at that, you can see it forming. It's already starting to look really good though. I might just leave these buttons on here and not turn them down for the Amaryllis. That just means I need to hunt for some more superconductor buttons for the Amaryllis. I would make some, but superconductor is so expensive right now that it would cost me almost as much in material as it would to just buy buttons, and then I still have to make them. And since I make them by hand, they wouldn't necessarily be perfectly symmetrical, so that's where I'm at on buttons for this thing. That's why I was really hoping that those ones would fit. I'm gonna put everything back in the case just to kind of wrap it up real quick. I love my Amaryllis. Can't wait to get some different buttons for it. I'm ready for a change. Some superconductor would be cool. It's a great button material. Good grip, good feedback. Looks really cool. But maybe some reverse etched for this thing. Be really special. NJT coin, I was just talking about that thing. Yeah, I mean, it's great. Axis Micro, it's great, but I can't wait for maybe one that's just a little smaller. And then I would also like some superconductor buttons on this thing, I think. This is just the forever spinner, and I want an exotic button beyond zirconium, which is like base exotic, barely exotic, hardly even exotic. Depends who you ask, I guess. Yeah. Love this guy. After messing with those two, this thing feels so light. It's only like 70 or almost 80 grams compared to the 100 plus on those. Not as much feedback too. Yeah, this thing definitely just eats up the feedback, even though it's got the same bearing as those two. Eats up the feedback from those bearings. I love this thing. Love it for going on hikes and walks and stuff, because one, being titanium, if it gets dropped, it's not a big deal. Pieces are captured so they don't come apart. Like that's how it comes apart. You have to actually take all the screws out and then take off an O-ring off of the post on the Teflon side. You can kind of maybe see it in there. Yeah, so it doesn't come apart. That's something that I really enjoy about this. You don't have to worry about over travel and shooting a piece off into the ground. That's just not fun when you're out hiking, and especially out in the mud. Got the Captain. I don't have any more to say about that. I want this on a puffer crasher. If you have a puffer crasher and you want to sell it, a stainless Zirc one, hit me up. Seriously. I don't really have money right now, but maybe we can trade or something. It's been a rough couple weeks, couple months. Everything in our house is breaking. Everything with our cars, my wife's car, was breaking. Oh yeah, top C. It's great. Not much to say. Still love this thing, even though it's quite middle of the road, mediocre. Maybe it's that it's just heavy enough to have some mass, but it's still really fast, like a titanium spinner. It's just kind of in that sweet spot, because this thing definitely probably spins faster than anything I've probably even had. I mean, this thing's ripping. I would like this to be in tungsten. That would just be cool. If you can find one of these, try one. They're cheap. Again, if it's cheap, find one. Definitely not for everybody. Drives my wife crazy too, because that's a lot of noises coming out of a little thing. It's not crazy loud, but it's noisy, if you know what I'm saying. That does not go there. Cool mechanism, kind of mushy, really expensive. Would not recommend at the prices you see on AliExpress. $240, it was even just a stretch for it. These are pretty cool. If you find these pretty cheap, I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's great. It's a great pocket carry. There's not much to go wrong on it. I will say I did have one of the magnets come out. I think it was that one. One of the middle ones came out, like right when I got it. But since then, it's been okay. And I've used it a lot since it's been in my fanny pack getting carried. Nux, it's big, heavy. That's one reason I don't carry it. Very heavy. I did try it on the Spore. I mean, they match great. Like, why wouldn't I? But this is heavy, and it was awkward having them tethered together. leave that out last. That's for sale. Hit me up. If you watch my videos, how about like 140 bucks shipped in the US? Like someone's got to bite at that, right? Outside of the US, we got to pay additional shipping, but we could work that out. I know a couple of you guys are from overseas. This one also drives my wife crazy whenever I'm doing that right there. That's a lot of noise. Get a Gambit coin if you haven't tried one. It's really kind of hard to convey how that feels going in and out. And I guess it'll feel different too with the normal billet spin coins that are they go in and out a little easier. But I think you should still give one a shot. Even if it's maybe the top one, the kind of the bearing, so you can spin it, not like that, actually spin it on a bearing, and it makes it more like a top. That could be, I think that should be in everyone's collection, honestly. Titanium Teflon snake. No O-rings in it. I still have the O-rings. I don't have the package. I mean, it's just a little tear slip. Oh, and it's been dropped on one corner right there between my thumbnails. Can I even get it to show? There it is. That spot right there. Other than that, it's perfect. The plates do show signs of use, not abuse. They're gonna look like that almost after an hour of use anyways, so yeah, 140 bucks if you made it this far into the video. Thanks. See ya.